Hi, welcome. In this video, I'm going to be going over Chapter 1 of A Psalm for the Wild Built by Becky Chambers. And this is going to be part of a series going through each of the chapters, kind of summarizing them and giving some notes on them, as well as providing them with kind of a big question to kind of help book groups and other study groups and other organizations kind of help go through this text. So, with that, I have no preface info outside of that at the top, no content warnings, so let's go ahead and let's open up with a passage from this chapter. It was an odd feeling. Any other day, the act of going through a door was something Dex gave no more thought to than putting one foot in front of the other. But there was a gravity to leaving a place for good, a deep sense of the seismic change. Dex turned, bag over their back and crate under one arm. They looked up at the mural of the child god, Alele, their god of small comforts, represented by the great summer bear. Dex touched the bear pendant that hung around their neck, remembering the day Brother Wiley had given it to them when their other had been lost in the laundry. Dex drew one shaky breath, then walked away, each step sure and steady. So, Chapter 1 of A Psalm for the Wild Built introduces us to the planet and one of our main characters' sibling, Dex. The story takes place on the flourishing moon Panga, I think I'm pronouncing that right, with land divided equally between human settlements and untouched wilderness. The human settlements consist of one large metropolis with a collection of medium-sized farming villages and satellites around it, as in satellite villages. Life on the moon fits strongly within the tradition of solarpunk, and a pluralistic religion is a prominent feature of life. Sibling Dex is the follower of the bear-associated god of small things, and has spent their adult life tending to the monastery gardens. However, at age 29, they desire to leave the city and hear the sound of cicadas as they fall asleep. To do this, they decide to become a tea monk without training. This is a traveling monk that listens to people's problems and serves them tea, a sort of therapist and barista in one. Sibling Dex is provided with a two-tiered wagon, and after a rough first start as a tea monk, sets off toward the wilderness. Sibling Dex's first stop is the medium-sized village of Little Creek, where they garden and experiment with different teas. Now, probably the most novel aspect of this story at this point is the religion. The setting is not unusual for the solarpunk genre, or some of the more green utopias out there, think Ecotopia. Robotic sentience and the trope of robots leaving humanity mysteriously are both well-worn but welcome ideas, of course. From what we're able to gather in this section, the non-hierarchical religion is composed of 6 deities, so I suppose there's one hierarchy between kind of parent and child gods, but non-hierarchical in kind of a different sense. Some parent gods and some child gods, and some of these deities are Bosch, the god of cycles, which is represented by the circle. It's kind of a nature god. Grylom, the god of the inanimate, which is represented by like a triangle. Trichili, the god of threads, represented by a vertical bar. Samaphar, the god of mysteries, represented by the sunjay. And all the ones that are like shapes are the parent gods. All the ones that are animals are the child gods. Samaphar, the god of mysteries, the sunjay, as I said. Chal, the god of constructs, the sugar bee. And Alele, the god of small comforts, the great summer bear. Again, because the Alele, god of small comforts, is going to be so prominent, it's useful to kind of keep those in the back of your mind as you go throughout the story. Another one that's going to be really prominent is Bosch, the god of cycles, or kind of the one represented by the circle, because ecology is going to be so critical to this story, and that's really the god that kind of represents this. The tone is also notable at this point in the story. Part of the joy of reading this story is the optimistic and utopian setting. If Sibling Dex chooses to flee the city for the sound of crickets, as a type of retreat, this story surely functions as its own retreat to the readers. Martha Wells commented on the book by saying, "This was an optimistic vision of a lush, beautiful world that came back from the brink of disaster." Again, it's kind of its own cup of tea, if you want to think of it that way. So, on to our big question. One of the big questions of the story at this point is, why do you feel Sibling Dex decided to leave the city? What is appealing about falling asleep to cicadas, or what they represent, and the work of a tea monk? As always, cite the text and any other sources to support your answer. With that said, thank you for watching. I appreciate it. Feel free to subscribe below. And if you're interested in what I'm doing here, read through the bio and check out other videos as well. I always appreciate it. And with that, I'll see you in the video for Chapter 2. Thanks for watching.